Hey y'all, welcome to Coyote Trapping School Podcast, episode number 20. This episode is a follow-up to the last episode. Last episode I talked about video equipment and what I use, how that's changed a little bit. This episode I'm going to talk about if you were interested in starting a trapping channel or any kind of channel, output, content production, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Kind of my thoughts and what I've learned since I've done this and as I've been doing this. So, I guess my first question, if that's something that you're really interested in, you want to do, you want to get started, my initial question is why? And I asked that just to kind of clarify and kind of bring some reality, I guess, is what I'm ultimately doing. Because, and maybe it's calmed down a little bit, I don't know, but I know a lot of people, they see some of the bigger channels out there on YouTube and they think, man, I can be a YouTuber, I can put videos on the internet and get paid. And, and that's kind of the driving force behind it, behind their desire to do that. And that is possible, absolutely. And I'd be lying if I said that wasn't some of the initial reason or some of my initial why I started this whole thing. My intention, my original intention, the reason I started was I listened to a lot of podcasts, and I listened to Smart Passive Income podcast with Pat Flynn, and back 6 or 7 years ago, he was talking about niching down and finding a niche and building a website and kind of putting all your effort and all your creation and all your thoughts into building that niche. And if you niche down and find a small enough an audience, a really direct, concentrated audience, and you can produce something for that audience, that can be how you can have an impact and potentially grow a business. And so that's where my whole concept for, originally it was howtotrapbeavers.com. It's morphed to Coyote Trapping School now, but grew out of that. I've got a regular 8 to 5 job that I show up at every day. I enjoy it, but it's not trapping, and it's not helping other people learn how to trap. And so, if I could figure out a way, and I've been trying for the last 5 years, is trying to morph this and figure out a way to be able to grow it into something that does produce some kind of income. And I'll tell you right up front that I haven't figured that out yet. I'm still working and I'm thinking all the time. And so that's kind of where I wanted to start is I wanted to kind of put that reality in there. If you think that there's a lot of work involved. There's no overnight successes in anything. And if they are overnight success, it's not going to last long. And anything that's worth doing and is going to give you a good outcome, in my opinion, there's going to be a lot of work involved. And so that's the first thing that I would say is you've got to have patience and you've got to have consistency in your content production and quality, I would say. Like I said, I started my YouTube channel in December of 2013. That's 5 years ago this December. And by a lot of, people's standards, even my standards, I've got a pretty successful trapping related YouTube channel. I got almost 74,000, not 74,000, I wish, 7,400 subscribers, well over 1 million views on all my videos. I've got 250 some videos. Looking at the last 28 days, and now my views spike, ebb and flow depending on trapping season. I get more interest and more views in the wintertime than I do in the summertime. But I'm looking at my analytics now. The last 28 days, so basically the month of November, I've had a total watch time of 364,000 minutes. And that's something that blows my mind. That's over 6,000 hours of y'all people out there watching the content that I produce, and that just baffles me to think about that that people have sat around and watched 200 hours a day of my content, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that and I try to put out good content that makes people want to watch that. And I say that to say, I've got the last 28 days over 61,000 views on my videos. But in the realm of YouTube, successful YouTube channels, man, I'm not even in the ballpark. I don't know if any of y'all watch or have young kids. If you do, you probably know Ryan's World, and Ryan, the kind of YouTube sensation. They started their channel in Ryan's toy reviews, and it's just a little young kid that he started out doing toy reviews, and now it's morphed into, it's a business that's supporting his family and probably a production company. He's got 17 million subscribers, and he started in March of 2015, and that's 2 years after I started mine, and I'm not even in the ballpark of that, And so, like I said, I say all that to say, if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel to make money, don't start it solely about trapping. There's some other successful kind of younger folks that do kind of trapping, fishing, hunting, kind of a general outdoors related theme, and they have been more successful and are probably doing better. So I'll say this. I run ads. For the first several years, I didn't run ads on any of my videos because I didn't want that. I didn't want that to inhibit the experience. I wanted people to watch my videos, and so that's one of the catch-22s about producing video content on YouTube is your revenue comes from ads, but you only get paid if somebody clicks on the ad. So it's kind of counteracting what I want to do, in a sense, because I want somebody to watch my video, but I don't get paid unless they click on the ad. If they click on the ad, they're going away from my video. So, and that's something that I definitely, took in mind and still take into account, when I decide whether I'm going to run ads on a video or not. And one of the main reasons that I started running ads on my video, for one, I feel like it's pretty commonplace. People are used to skipping, waiting 5 seconds and then skipping the ad. And for two, I wanted to see, what kind of revenue that it could potentially generate, because the camera equipment, the time, the computer, I mean, it is a cost. And, I spend a good bit of time doing all this, and so I got to justify it somehow, especially to my wife. So, and the first sure ain't justifying anything. So, in the peak of last year, the peak of trapping season, which I was putting out a video a day, while I was running my trap line, running an ad on those, and then all the other videos that I've got, some probably half and half of what had ads on them and what didn't, out of say 100 and right around 200 videos probably. And every month, my ad revenue was around $200, and I would say probably starting in April that tailed off. So this summer, I've run probably in the ballpark of $100 a month ish in ad revenue from YouTube, and then it's starting to spike back up to getting up towards 200 again. And so that's one thing that, man, it really makes it click in my mind is, I feel like I've been pretty successful. I got 7,400 of y'all that have subscribed, get notifications, and watch my videos when I put them out, and man, that's a drop in the bucket. To make any significant revenue on YouTube, you've got to have a huge audience getting a huge amount of traffic. And trapping is just not, it's not mainstream. You've got to want to know something about trapping. You've got to not mind seeing dead animals and blood and things like that. And I'm okay with that, because my goal overall is I want to get people, I want to share my passion and my love for trapping, and I want to get more people trapping. And so that's when I asked the first question of what's your objective, and like I said up front, my objective was and is to try to generate some kind of income out of this. But that can't be your sole objective. You've got to have a passion. You've got to have a drive and a desire to do this, because producing videos day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, whatever, it takes time and it takes effort. It takes money for the equipment. So I don't want to belabor that point, but don't think you're going to start a trapping channel and be able to quit your day job, because that ain't happening. Not to say, and like I said, there's a lot of successful YouTubers out there. Don't think there's many of them in the trapping world, but I think there is opportunity, and I'm kind of kicking that around. And man, I'd love to have your thoughts, because I'm a hunter as well. I haven't hunted the last few years. I haven't hunted near as much because I've been trapping more. I love trapping, and I really like to do more trips like I did earlier this year to Ohio, and I've got a friend in Wyoming that wants me to come out there and try. I want to go out to Wyoming and trap bad, and just kind of, I want to do that more, but dang, day job, as I know all y'all know, day job gets in the way, and you only got so many days of vacation, and you got to spend time with the family, so it's all a juggling act, and it's all a juggling game. But anyway, consistency. If you're wanting to have a successful channel platform, you've got whatever it is, blogging, video, Facebook, Instagram, podcasting, you got to have consistency. So when I first started my YouTube channel, I was producing 2 videos a week, and that took a lot of time and energy. But I was also seeing a pretty quick subscriber growth, because that's a lot of these platforms, they have algorithms, and one thing that they want to see is they want to see engagement and interaction, and how much you're producing content. Just like with Google, if you're producing just blog content, written content, but you're producing it regularly, and your website is staying fresh, you're gonna get more search priority, I guess, if somebody's searching the terms that you're focusing on. So consistency is huge, and like I said, it gets old sometimes producing that day in and day out. One thing that I've figured out, and I'm trying, and I'm still working on and improving, is one, reaching more channels. I started with a website and with YouTube, because I wanted somewhere to send people. I wanted to be able to provide some additional content, and have another avenue before other than video. And so that's what I started with a website and YouTube. And then in the last few years, I've started kind of messing around with Instagram and starting to do that a little bit heavier. And then begrudgingly, sometime last year, maybe the year before, I started messing around with Facebook. I was always one of those guys that said, I'm never gonna have a Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. It ain't happening. Dadgummit, I've got a Facebook account. The one thing that I've realized is that I get more interaction and more. There's just a broader audience and more of an audience on Facebook than Instagram. I like Instagram. It's easy. It's pictures. It's I like scrolling. But particularly a little bit older audience on Facebook, and so that's one thing that I've been kind of experimenting with and working with is and trying not to kill myself in content production, but trying to produce a piece of content and then produce other content that supports it. So if I'm producing a video, then make an Instagram post, a Facebook post, maybe a blog post, or a website article, and point all that stuff back to the YouTube video. So that's kind of one thing that I've, and especially YouTube tends to be a little bit more long form, but Facebook and Instagram, that stuff's kind of pretty short form, and it gets tiring trying to come up with just one thing every day to put on Facebook and Instagram. One thing that I realized, though, is you got to pay attention and think through the way you're processing things. And so one thing I realized this summer is all the videoing that I did the last trapping season, hours of video every day. Not hours every day, but hours of video that I produced. Man, there was, so many little snippets, a 30-second clip or 2-minute clip, that I could have at that time pulled out and done a shorter video that would perfectly play on Facebook, or, a 30-second clip that could go on Instagram. And so thinking more of that, about getting a little bit more efficient about how I produce content. And then one thing that I've, just recently started doing, if you're listening to this in audio form for the podcast, as I've started the podcast, and I wished last November, about this time last year, I actually recorded a couple episodes, just audio, and I was really struggling with how to record it. I was using my video microphone plugged straight into the computer, and the software that I was trying to use, I didn't really understand it, and so I recorded like 3 episodes, and I was like, man, I just don't like this. I'm not comfortable, and kind of put it to the side, and I wished I'd have stuck with it, but I didn't. I'm doing it now, and so I appreciate all the support, and I intend to stick with it now for sure. But one thing that I thought about, and kind of the reason that I came back around to, one is I don't watch many YouTube videos. I don't really do a whole lot on Facebook. I'll scroll through Instagram from time to time. But what I do is I listen to podcasts, and I travel and drive a good bit, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. And so, if that's how I'm consuming content, presumably that's how other people are consuming content, and hopefully would want to consume my content that way. So the more I got to thinking about it, and then thinking about ways to take a single piece of content and put it into multiple forms, and that's when it hit me that there's no reason why I can't produce this video for YouTube, but then pull the audio out and set it aside and produce it as a podcast, and then I'm not doing double work, and I'm trying to provide good quality content all the way around. And then when I do that, now one thing that I've started doing is trying to put a specific thumbnail and put some effort in putting a custom thumbnail in with my YouTube videos. So that takes a little bit of time. But I think that helps traffic, and just from instead of the generic thumbnail that YouTube gives you the option of, you can add words and stuff like that. And so I think long term that helps. Not only does that help with YouTube, but that gives me 2 pieces of content that I can throw up on Instagram and throw up on Facebook. That, hey, are you listening to the podcast? Go listen to the podcast. Go watch the video. And so that's what I would encourage you to do. I say encourage you to do. It's kind of a conundrum of, some people will say, pick one thing and dive deep into it, and that's what I did with YouTube initially. Is I picked YouTube, and that's what I focused on, and that probably did help me out in the long run. At that time, 2013, YouTube was definitely farther along than it was in 2008, but not as far as it is now. I don't know how many billions of hours of video are uploaded to YouTube now, but picking and diving headlong into YouTube really helped me. I learned a lot about YouTube and how to produce and try to get video views, and I would say probably starting out, I think that's something that's worthwhile, is picking one thing, Instagram, and one thing that you can do, and I'm kind of rambling here, but one thing you can do is try to get in early on something. And it's a little bit of a gamble, because if a thing flops, then you're kind of out of luck. But if it does good and you're one of the early adopters, then you stand a chance to be one of the kind of the influencers, that grows an audience quicker. And one thing that I think about with that is IGTV, Instagram TV. That's kind of new, and usually when these social media platforms, if something new comes out, like video on Facebook or live video on Facebook, those platforms push a lot of extra energy and effort, algorithms and whatever, into promoting that. And so if you do a Facebook Live video, you're going to get a lot more engagement. You're going to get a lot in front of a lot more people than if you do a video and then post it on Facebook. And so that's one thing that I've actually been even trying to sort out and figure out a little bit too, is, it'd probably be good for me to video these podcasts. So I'm videoing it. I'm going to pull out the audio for podcasts. At the same time, I should be having my cell phone set up, Facebook Live in these podcasts as well. And so, like I said, I'm still working through that. The podcasts are not something that I put a lot of production time into. I kind of let it ride, and as you see, I kind of jump around and go where it leads me. But so from that standpoint, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if I don't articulate everything just right and on the Facebook Live. So anyway, that's just some of my thoughts. There is with as much attention it is out there, and the different options and opportunities, you gotta kind of try to figure out where your audience is. Like I said, I stuck with Instagram for a long time, and then finally switched over to Facebook. And man, if I post them, if I do a Facebook Live, one thing about Facebook is I can post longer videos. Instagram, you're stuck to a minute clip. But I'm getting more engagement, getting more likes and followers and things like that on Facebook. So clearly that's where more of my audience is than on Instagram. So that's a big thing, is finding out where your audience is and what your audience is looking for. And I would say another thing in along with that is be yourself. There's some of the real successful YouTube channels out there, and all of the channels for that matter. People like them because they're themselves. They're not putting on any persona. They're not trying to be all professional or prim and proper, or vice versa. They're not trying to be. People can pick up on that. People know if you're not being truthful, if you're not being honest, if you're trying being deceiving. So, in that matter, be yourself. And also, if you're producing, particularly trapping or hunting, whatever, kind of the outdoor related content, man, you've got to be considerate, and you'll hear both sides of the argument that we gotta, we have just a right to everybody else to post things, and we absolutely do. But at the same time, we don't want to do more harm than good by turning those people away, or turning some people away. Some people are you're never going to change their mind. You're never going to please them. There's no sense in trying. But some people that may be on the fence, and I spent a lot of time thinking about that, and it's actually something that I've just thought about. I'm thinking about that right now, and going forward this trapping season. Because I've gotten, particularly on Facebook, I don't know if y'all have followed along, but I posted a video the other day of using an air compressor to blow up a coyote. Not blow up like boom, but blow up the hide so that theoretically it should skin easier. And that video, in the trapping world, that video went viral. It's over 3 million views. I got a lot of likes and shares and comments, and my Facebook audience particularly grew a lot. When that happens, you get comments. You get negative comments, and then other people start seeing what you posted in the past, and so that'll lead me to something else in a minute. But I got a couple comments on my coyote that I caught in Ohio. A lot of people, the first thing they say is, why would you do that? That animal's suffering. Why are you taking that picture? Just shoot him. And I went back and forth with a few of them, and their logic does not make sense. But you can't argue something logical with somebody that's illogical thinking. But one guy was said, why don't you, if you're proud of it, then why don't you proudly wear it with as a fur coat? And in my mind, and I even replied back and said, man, it's a dead coyote either way you look at it. If I'm holding him up with blood dripping off his face, or if I'm wearing it in a pretty primed up fur coat, it's a dead coyote. I'm comfortable with it being a dead coyote. I'm comfortable with killing it. But not everybody is. And so along those lines, one thing that I'm thinking about this year is not that I won't take those pictures, and that's what I tried to portray, and it's the few, it's the minority that says that, and I also try to kind of gauge it against that, because I don't want to be overwhelmed or let the minority win. Kind of lost my train of thought there, but I don't want to be putting I don't want to be putting something out there that could jeopardize trapping, that could turn people off, turn people away. So I thought about what I was getting at. I'm still going to take those pictures because I'm darn proud that I can catch that coyote. And that was kind of the the gist of some of those things is, why are you grinning, smiling while that animal's suffering? Well, for one, I could have turned him loose. He's not suffering. He's probably a little stressed because some big dude walks up on him and he can't get away. Yes, he's probably a little stressed. I could turn that coyote loose right now and he's going to go off just fine. Game agencies and trappers for game agencies use foothold traps to catch animals, to relocate them, or to repopulate areas. He's not necessarily suffering, but golly, I can't remember where I was going with that either. My train of thought kind of gets off the track a lot, but I'm absolutely proud that I'm one of the few people that can read sign, that can interpret and anticipate an animal's movements, and can be able to get that coyote to step on the 2 inches that my trap pan is. I'm absolutely proud of that. I'm also proud that coyote is going to go, he's going to be used. He's going to, his fur is going to go, some of it may wind up being a leather wallet that I make that I'm still working on. Some of his fur may go to some lady in China that wears it around her, shawl, or wears it around the trim of her coat, and keeps her warm and makes her feel pretty. But I'm proud that, one, I can catch that animal. Absolutely, I'm proud. And two, I'm proud that that animal's getting the use out of it. That it didn't get hit on the highway and it's sitting there rotting in the ditch. That nobody gives a flip about. All these people that talk about how I'm so cruel and I ought to be ashamed. They don't care two seconds about that coyote that got hit and drug himself off and laid there in the ditch for 6 hours while he bled internally and died. All they care about is that thing stinks on the side of the road. Somebody needs to clean this place up. Sidetracked again, but that's one of the things that really irks me. But in saying all that, in trying to somehow try to get an in with some of these people, so I thought I'm thinking about, yeah, I'll still take those pictures because I'm absolutely proud that I caught that coyote. I may post them on Instagram because I haven't gotten as much pushback on Instagram as I have Facebook. But maybe on Facebook I'll change my picture taking, and maybe I'll show the dead coyote laying on the ground and me looking fondly at him rubbing his fur or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think about that. Y'all give me some comments, weigh in on your thoughts. Like I said, we got just as much of a right to post things, absolutely, but I don't want to give trappers a worse name or give people more of a reason to not like trappers or be anti-trapping. Wow, we're getting off on a tangent there, but I guess that really well leads into my next issue is you got to have thick skin, and you can't let things bother you, because I get some ugly, seriously ugly things said to me and about me and my family. I don't let my wife see those. I'll delete those and ban them. And that's one thing that too. There's some people that you kind of feel like you can kind of reason with a little bit, or help them understand or see why are you doing this. There's some people that are just absolute antis, and you're never going to win with them. Those people get deleted and banned. I don't worry with them. But if it feels like they may be somewhat reasonable, I'll try to open a dialogue and lay it out that these are the same traps that are used to relocate. Trappers have innovated over the last 80 years to improve the traps and the way we trap, so that we're not hurting animals, so that we're not cutting animals' feet and losing feet. And that I feel a sense of pride in knowing that we are harvesting a sustainable, renewable, organic, if you will, resource. So, and there are a few people that come around and they say, "Oh well, I understand that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your time." One thing that I don't do is I don't try to get ugly with people. You know, I don't say, well, you know, whatever. And that's hard to do when somebody posts a comment and says, I hope you catch that trap, and somebody skins your child. Man, if that doesn't make your blood boil, I don't know what does. And those are the ones that I delete you. I'm not wasting my time of day on you. If you've got nothing else to do in your life but look at something that you are totally disagreeing with and leave a comment there, you're in a bad place, man. If there's something that I don't want to look at, I'm not going to look at it, much less take the time out of my day to try to bring somebody else down with my negative attitude. But you're going to get comments like that. Deleting them, keeping your spouse from seeing threats against your life and your family. And you know, to some extent, I try to, I give a lot of thought to that, because people know my name, they know where I live generally, and they could find where I live, you know, and I got my wife and son, and I don't want to do anything to put them in jeopardy. So, and it's something you think about when you get somebody threaten you. But anyway, you gotta have thick skin. You can't take any of it personal. These are just jackwagon lowlifes that have nothing better to do. And like I said, I delete them, and I don't let that impact my day or my life whatsoever. But it's gonna happen. So anyway, kind of a wrap up. Absolutely, man. There's tons of opportunity. I would look for new things, and look for, you know, a new platform coming out, or a change in the platform, or you know, a lot of people, I don't know if any of y'all know of or listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. He's got a good message. He can be a little bit tough to listen to, but you know, he's pretty heavy on voice. That voice is the way of the future in podcasts and Alexa skills and things like that. And just by how much that I listen to podcasts and consume things audibly, I really think there's something to that. So that's why I'm trying to focus and, you know, doing the podcast in addition to this other stuff. But don't be afraid to put some content out there if it's something that you really want to do and you're passionate about it. Put some content out there, because man, it feels so good when somebody, you know, does send you a picture and say, hey, your video helped me catch my first coyote or my first beaver. Man, that's awesome. And it's a great feeling of satisfaction, and a great community that has come together to, you know, watch my videos and leave comments and you know, cheer each other on. I love being a part of the trapping community. I appreciate y'all watching along, following along, the support, the comments, the questions, and the answers to my questions, and the helping. And you know, I get a lot out of the interaction with y'all. So, man, I love being a part of the trapping community and the trapping brotherhood, and intend to keep it coming. And that being said, if you're new to trapping, if you're interested in trapping, but never, you know, knew where to start, heck, that's what we're here for. I want to help you get started trapping any way that I can. Produce all kinds of content for a quick, down and dirty, downloadable PDF ebook. You can go to coyotetrappingschool.com/bonus, and I've got a intro to predator trapping, I think is what it's called. So, like 18-page downloadable ebook there that'll get you started. Tell you, you know, what traps you need for, you know, what animal, what else you need other than traps, because you can't just buy traps and go catch stuff. You need other stuff to do that. And so that's a good place to get started. Subscribe here, and whether you're listening on a podcast, YouTube, Facebook, like, subscribe. I appreciate it, and be on the lookout. Maybe by the time this is published, I'll have well, I definitely will, because this will be in a couple weeks from now, and I'll be on the trap line, which I'm setting this weekend, December 1st. Our trapping season comes in here in Georgia, and I've got me a new trap line bag design. It's the same bag that I used, the same design that I used when I was in Ohio, but I've got it made out of different material that I'm pretty excited about trying out and seeing. So be on the lookout for that. I hope to be field testing that this season, and you know, depending on the feedback, I'm going to try to get some other folks using it, and if it's something that you like, hope to be selling them in time for next season, maybe, if it works out and if it's as good as I hope it is and think it is. But anyway, as always, give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. would like to see in the future. We'll catch you on the next time. Y'all have tight chains and happy trapping.